a description of the development of the pineal gland and how it feels like. So in this video, I'm going to describe, the process that I went through, in developing. So of course, my pineal gland is not yet fully developed, but it's still in the developmental stages. But it's now on the advanced level, like probably reaching the climax, of its development. And once that is attained, so I didn't want to wait until that moment, but to explain what was involved in this process, so you get to understand if you are on the meditation pathway, so you yourself can understand what is involved. And also everyone experience is different probably, and I'll give you my perspective on it, and at least it's documented in this YouTube channel, and it's there for it's going to be there for, it's going to outlive me, so to speak. um, uh, and or outlive that this time period in which we are currently living, for as long as YouTube is in existence, or maybe may help a lot of people who are searching for answers, and this type of information is not available. I haven't found it, anyone describing this, what I'm about to describe, right, anywhere in YouTube, right, from all the videos that I watch and all the books that I've read. So I'd just like to ask you a great favor. For if you like the contents, of my video, please like and subscribe to my channel. It's going to greatly help my channel to reach out to more people. And for those who don't know me, I am Osman. I'm a bioenergy healer on a master level with telepathic healing capabilities, and specializing in critical care recovery and terminal illnesses, amongst a host of other physiological, psychological, and even spiritual ailments, especially alleviating the adverse effects of involuntary Kundalini awakening in people. Right? So, I'm also an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher, having been practicing this art for almost 50 years, and teaching for 44 years. And to that end, I over that time period, I've studied under various masters across the globe from different schools of thought, not only from a yoga perspective but other spirituality perspectives, learning, and gleaned out what I felt was important, and simplified and creating my own protocols, to make things adapted for the 21st century, where things are simpler, quicker, faster, easier, less time consuming, and power packed, with the results oriented, getting results quicker, right? And to that end, I now currently have students in over 100 countries. And also my favorite protocol that I've created was my 5-minute yoga and meditation program, which you can download for free by visiting my website, yogawellness786.com, in exchange for subscribing to my blog. And where you can also, at my website, get information, more information about my services. Also, remember, my therapies are all natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. So, coming back to the development of the pineal gland, I had the inner conjunction experience, or the taste of, the samadhi or the nirvana or the bliss experience, or the taste of the enlightenment experience, multiple occasions, over the decades, from 19 years old, multiple experiences at the age of 32, in meditation, it's explored, and it was too overwhelming, right? And then in prayer gatherings, this explode into ecstasy when they were singing songs of praise, and grace, let the grace descend down on me, and so forth, right? So it just really descended on me and exploded me. And then I learned, the kriya practice, and learned to manually control the kundalini through the technique kriya of Paramahamsa Yogananda, which I simplified it, right? I simplified it and created my own protocol that is much easier than how he teaches it, but brings about the same result, right? Brings the same result. We want the result, right? We don't want, why should we go into complicated stuff? So during this entire process, I had no idea of the pineal gland, right? So of course, in university we learned there's a gland in the brain called pineal gland, right? It is just like like the all the glands. You got the heart, you got the kidneys, you got the salivary glands, but it didn't make any difference, right? There was no significance attached to it, right? From a meditation. Then watching meditation videos and people who are awakened, and people who's got third eye open and so forth. They say it's actually the pineal gland that's activated, and the pineal gland is actually the third eye, right? Which, in my meditation experiences and so forth, I did experience the complete opening of the third eye. And it's not the full maturation of the third eye awakening, because what happens in meditation, it gives you a taste of what's to come. Then, because it's a long practice, you're going to spend like about a decade, sometimes 2 decades practicing, right? Depending on your practice. And you know that this is possible. You're convinced. You don't have any doubt, because you experienced it, right? So it opened completely. And I'm just explaining this because a lot of people relate this to the pineal gland, right? So when this happened, probably about 25 years ago, right? And I still haven't experienced the complete third eye awakening from that time. It was a once off occasion. And of course, it was a very frightening experience, because I was not in my body. I felt myself floating up, and I felt myself like ether shaking, like I got no body, and I was unstable, like I was moving like this, right? Moving like this. And I was slightly above. I'm slightly above, but I was in another body that was ethereal, like a ethereal in nature. And it's not solid body like this. This you feel solid, grounded. That one is like a very shaky. It was like like a wavy type of thing, right? It was not stable. And I wasn't seeing through these eyes. I was seeing through an eye somewhere here, not inside the brain. It was somewhere here above my body, slightly above the body here, is what I felt it like, right? Not, I didn't feel it here. I felt like it's here. And also, suddenly I had knowledge of everything. It was like my brain was fully awakened. It was like functioning, like how your brain normally functions. You think, okay, what's 15 times 20? Right? So now you have to think 15 times 2 is 30, plus add another 0 is 300, right? You're going to think like that, right? If you didn't do that multiplication before. That's the speed at which we are thinking, right? Multiply that in warp speed, not the speed of, not breaking the sound barrier, not breaking the speed of light barrier, going into warp speed. Why I say warp speed, right? Maybe, so that you don't feel I'm exaggerating, right? Because in that moment when it awakened, we all have doubts in our mind, and things that we were learning, things we were confused about, and questions unanswered, and we let it pass. It's unanswered, and decades are going, and now it's like I'm 30, 32, 33 years old, right? And so many questions, right, in your lifetime, right? 30 years of questions, right? And I could remember my life up to when I was around 2 years old. I remember being 2 years old, right? So my memory goes back quite far, right? And I don't know why. I mean, that's how my memory is, right? I don't know. Different people are different, right? So many things that were confusing, in a snap, everything got answered in my head. I suddenly knew the answers to all the questions in a snap. How many questions? Thousands of questions got answered in a snap, right? And I just could understand the motives of people and everything, you know, the inner feeling, the people's feeling of enviousness and this thing, others. And it's like the eye can see 360 degrees. It can see past, present, future. And I didn't sustain long because it's frightening, because I'm out of my, I never, that was my first out of body experience. Yes, I experienced Samadhi, but it was like I didn't feel I just felt myself disappear, right, into the bliss. But now I'm not in any bliss. And I'm very conscious and normal, like how I'm talking to you normally. It's just that my intelligence level is so much faster, and I can think bang, bang, like I can understand the Burj Khalifa full of books in a split second, right? All the philosophies that I was studying, books on, because I was into philosophy and everything, suddenly made total sense to me. Every line, everything, in that split second. And of course, I was afraid, and I thought maybe I died and I fell off my body or something. And I wanted to come back, and I came back immediately when I shook myself, psychologically shook myself, right? Because I didn't have any body to shake, and just this ethereal body. And I willed myself, and I came back to normal consciousness. And it's not something that I want to readily experience, because it's a bit, you feel, because we used to our body, right? And to be without body, that feeling is not a very pleasant, because it's frightening. Maybe you might not come back, but that's why I'm developing my yoga and so forth. Then, in the developmental processes in meditation, I felt first thing that I felt was the activation of my chakras, right? So used, and I didn't know it was the chakras getting, unblocked, not activating, because the chakras are probably active on a power saver mode. I, while meditating, suddenly I see yellow light, right? Wow. And I'm open eye meditation. I'm sitting and meditating, and I'm seeing the open eye, right? So I used to see the various colors, just to fast forward, and they were actually the chakras. And then eventually I could feel, because they say this chakra is here, I used to put my mind there, and I could feel like a pulsating in that area. And then when I focus somewhere, then I feel, then that chakra will start pulsating, right? And sometimes you focus long, it pulsates stronger and stronger and stronger, right? And you feel like it's like spinning, it's going like a circular manner. And I don't know whether it's going this way or that way, but we know it's revolving, right? You can feel like a motion is happening, and a revolutionary motion. And it's hard to pinpoint whether it's going clockwise or anti-clockwise. Let me just feel. It feels clockwise, right? If I look down like this, right, it's going, right. Um, so I started to feel the pulsating of the various chakras. So I just have to think of it, then I used to feel it. So I think of my seventh chakra also, and I can feel it. It's like a slight pulsation there, like a heartbeat, and a heartbeat here. Or if I focus here, it'll beat here. Not all at the same time, right? When I focus there, then it beats. It's like, I used to feel that. Nothing about the pineal gland so far. But I know people are saying it's the third eye. So if that's the third, I didn't feel myself when the third eye awoken, that I was inside my head and looking from inside. I felt outside me. I was outside the body. So the pineal gland is inside the body, right? And the third eye was outside the body. So I would say, from my experience, the pineal gland is not the third eye. So and I got confirmation of that later, and I'll come to that confirmation now, right? So I never felt anything happening with the pineal gland, and all I used to feel is the development and maturation of each of the chakras getting more and more. And especially, I'm practicing the Kriya of Yogananda now the past 7 years. And 6 years, even up to this year, I never felt the pineal gland or anything. Maybe it was there, but I mean, I would have noticed it, right? I never felt any pulsating inside my head. But now that I'm like 700 increments up, and the power level is high enough, the Kundalini power is high enough, and now it's starting to feel like a throbbing inside the center of my head, slightly to the back, like that, of how the chakras are pulsating. But this is inside the head, around the area where the pineal gland ought to be. So now if I focus on it, yes, it's pulsating. So it's then now pulsating 24/7, and I'm feeling the energy flowing from, the base, from my root chakra, the base of my from my perineum area, right? And it's 24/7 going up and powering up the pineal gland. Now the pineal gland is active 24/7, but not 100% active, because if it's 100% active, it will power up the third eye, right? And it will power up the seventh chakra completely, and I will be able to see the energetic world 100%. like as described by Gopi Krishna in his lectures on Kundalini, which was recorded between the years 1977 to 1984 when he passed away. So you can go on YouTube, you can see some of his videos are there uploaded, where he's talking, and some of his students and his books. People wrote the books and they're available, as e-books and so forth, right? It's very interesting stuff. And one of the major proponents of Gopi, because Gopi Krishna specifically is speaking about the pineal gland, right? And he seems to be master of the pineal. If you want to know everything about the pineal gland, listen to all his lectures. You'll get a better idea of the capacity and the functions and the amazing aspect of the pineal. It like awakens your brain to its full capacity from 8 to 10% to 100% capacity, right? And as I explained to you, when I experienced that third eye opening, everything. So I'm experiencing that energetic world, or the third eye, the third eye world, and the brain function was super amazing, warp speed, right? So he describes the pineal gland, as requiring a lot of energy to be powered up 100% of the time, right? So now I can feel that throbbing in my head, inside my head, and it's getting powered up. So it is active, right? Or activated already on a lower level and developing. And I don't know how long it's going to take to fully develop, because Gopi Krishna said when he had his first inner conjunction experience, Kundalini awakening experience, it was so detrimental. He had a very negative experience, and he got very ill, and he was hospitalized for about 9.5 weeks. And he got afraid. He abandoned the practice of meditation because he was very put off by that experience. For about 4 years, he never practiced, and thereafter he slowly eased into it. And then after 12 years of regular practice, when we say regular practice, he practiced meditation before his Kundalini awakening from his age of 17 to his age of 34 for 3 hours every day at 3 a.m. to 6 a.m., right? Every morning he used to wake up, he used to go to an ice cold river and bathe himself in the river and come blue and sit in meditation until 6 a.m. He had that type of discipline before he had the Kundalini awakening. And then after that, after the 4 year break, he went into it, and then it became fully developed after another 12 years, right? He felt that the energy, he called it the sexual energy that transmuted and converted into spiritual energy and filling up the pineal gland. So, coming back to the theory as well, because I like to make this very scientific as well, not into something hocus pocus. Paramahamsa Yogananda, in his autobiography of a yogi, when he's describing the Kriya, and he doesn't explain how it's done, it's kept secretive in that book, but of course you can find it out, later on. I found it out, through deep research and study, what it actually, and it's a very complicated thing, I simplified it and made it very simple and easy peasy, right? So what he says, when you awaken and manual raise the energy, you raise it up the spine and into the head. You must let it fill the head. You never say take it to the pineal gland and fill. So I just say, okay, fill the head. Where the head? Must I fill it to above the head, in the front area to my forehead? Must I fill it to the forehead? No. And I was confused about it until I heard Gopi Krishna's lectures and said, oh, okay, its purpose is to fill the pineal gland. The pineal. So now on purpose, I'm doing it, and I'm feeling the throbbing of the pineal gland. Like whenever I focus on it, I can feel it throbbing like a little heartbeat, in your head. It's like an amazing, feel, but no ecstasy or anything, from it. It's something alive, inside your head. It's throbbing, and you're feeling like there's energy from the base of the spine filling, and that energy flowing up. It's like a slightly blissful feeling, right? It's like a slightly blissful feeling. When it intensifies, it becomes bliss overload. So I don't want it to become intense. Now that I'm saying intensified, it's starting to intensify, in me, and it's like I try to like by thought slow it down, step it down, because I want to be able to talk and be active because when it becomes slightly higher, you just have to sit down and you can collapse and you can say nothing, you can do nothing, and it becomes overwhelming. So it's in a controlled manner going up and feeling that amazing feeling, like a base level of bliss in the body, and it's pulsating all the time now. And obviously, once it's fully activated, it will power up. So I also noticed that its location is amazing as well, and there's a purpose to its location. So you have seven chakras that we talk about, the major chakras, right? From the base of the spine to the top of your head. But of very interest is you get all the chakras in a linear fashion up to the throat chakra, the five chakras, right? Your root chakra, your sacral chakra, your solar plexus chakra, your heart chakra, and your throat chakra is in a line, linear line, right? And then you say the sixth chakra is here, right? But the spine is here in the back, right? Not here in the front. So it's okay, we estimating, okay, from here it coming here. From here it was coming up the spine and then it shot out of the spine and come forward, right? No, doesn't do that. What it does is it goes to the pineal gland. From this one, it goes to the pineal gland. The pineal gland absorbing, now it's a three-way valve. It's absorbing energy from the top to activate it, and it's pushing it forward into the sixth chakra and also pushing upwards into the seventh chakra. And also when you're meditating, you're downloading energy from the cosmic energy. It comes down through, in yoga they call this area in the top a brahmarandhara, opening in the crown of your head, that you can't see it for real, right? It's a very subtle thing. It comes through that. Where it goes to? It goes through the pineal gland. So the pineal gland is there to absorb energy in meditation from the cosmic energy. It's to absorb energy down from the root chakra, comes up and fills it, and then to direct energy to activate the awakening of your third eye. You can open it. It needs sufficient power. So why it's not opening? Not enough power. It probably needs 100 watts, and maybe mine is now like only on 12 watts of electricity in the pineal gland. Once my pineal gland is powered up to 100%, which took Gopi Krishna, 3 hours a day, 12 years. I'm not doing 3 hours a day of meditation. I'm doing so many things, right? Which I believe is resulting in a much faster progress. But how much faster is it now? It's 7 years. And, I still haven't fully actualized the final stage and permanently in it, like how Gopi Krishna became permanently in it, right? In that enlightenment level, right? So it is such an amazing tool, the pineal. So it throbs, it absorbs energy from the cosmic energy, it sends energy to the third eye and sends energy to the seventh chakra. So the seventh chakra is a light. My students, and when I do chakra unblocking, they experience it as a purple light, but I experience it as a multicolored rainbow of lights. So it makes sense because mine is more mature, right, with long-standing yoga practice and so forth. And by the time I was able to observe it, it was already matured, and it's like lights are flashing. If you put when I do open eye meditation, the time when I had my eyesight, and I put my finger and I run it, it's like sparkles of all different color lights, rainbow lights. And it looks so amazing. I do that right from there, and that is starting to intensify. And now I feel permanently this part of my head is like a light is switched on, bright light, and it sometimes gets very bright, and then amazing different colors, and so forth, permanently like a cap of lights. And this area lit up some time ago, about 3 years ago, in my forehead permanently is a white light, right? Permanently. And sometimes in meditation or sometimes during the kriya, it becomes very bright, right? And then it gets dimmer, but 24/7, there's a light in my forehead, right? So the pineal gland is now reaching a higher level. It's powering that, it's powering this, maturing this, and then eventually when this is fully developed, I'll be in, that super conscious state 24/7. And this is being powered by the pineal gland, right? And now I'm feeling it, throbbing experience 24/7, and I'm feeling it absorbing energy. I'm feeling it because whenever you go in a state of calm, energy is downloading. I feel the energy is coming down and the energy is also going up, and I feel it's powering that energy, there, and powering the seventh chakra. And also the pineal gland is responsible for powering all the below five chakras, actually all seven chakras, right? So when I do chakra unblocking, I put my energy in this area, right? Saying, I used to think the third eye is the portal to, and in charge of, if you power up the third eye, it powers up all the others. No. Through the third eye, I send the energy into the pineal gland. Pineal gland is sending it automatically to all the chakras and unblocking all the chakras, chakra by chakra, right? And I didn't know I was doing that. And now I know, that is exactly what I was doing. All I'm doing is transferring energy. And when I'm doing things telepathically, because my third eye was awakened, so the visual part of it is the final step, but it awakens in gradations. Probably there's a thousand or thousands of gradations, right? Because you get clairsentience, you get clairaudience, you get clairvoyance, and then fully open, right? The final step. So I had clairvoyance and clairaudience. I think about 25 years ago, I had clairaudience, but I cut it off because you're hearing, the voices, and there's entities talking to you, and it's like I'm going to be declared schizophrenic, right? And I didn't want this because people are talking to me that are not existing in, that other people cannot see, and they crack the thing is, if I can silently listen to them and talking seriously, no problem, right? But there's some funny characters there, and there were some very funny characters, and the jokes were too much, and I just couldn't stop laughing all the time. So I was starting to look like I was going crazy, and that was the reason. And also it was getting overcrowded. Once these people know you can hear them, the other frequencies, they start crowding, like thousands of voices overcrowding. Of course, I could have worked towards controlling them and so forth, right? But I didn't want to do that. The main thing was the jokes were getting too much, and I'm just laughing, bursting out laughing, in a very silent room and very serious situations and very sad occasions also, when, and suddenly all these voices are there, and you burst out laughing. It's very inappropriate, and very embarrassing as well. And I just willed it to be stopped and completely stopped, but the clear sentience didn't stop. I still get a sense, you know and I didn't know that word clear sentience existed. I only learned that this year. I said, oh, so that's what it is, because I can feel what people are thinking, right? I think of them, I know what they are thinking, what's in their mind. If I just focus and concentrate, I can know, what they are thinking. So when people talk to me, they withhold things. They don't know I know exactly what's in. Maybe I know more than one of them, but they are not fully in the moment, right? They are thinking this and that, and I can see exactly what's in the full moment, in their brain, right? And not see it, I can feel it, right? And so forth through the clear this thing clairsentience, right? So this is the pineal gland development and the description of my pineal gland, and hope this information helps you. And I am convinced that this information I'm giving you is not available anywhere, in the world. And I don't want to be egotistical about it, but this is the reason for sharing, that maybe this might help a lot of people. Because why be in darkness? If I knew about this, I at will and on purpose would have been developing my pineal gland. Maybe it would have been developed by now. I didn't know that is what needs to be. I didn't focus, because you need to be mindful of something, and that's when it works. If you're not mindful or you're not intentional, it doesn't work. You need to put intention, and then it works. So hope that information helps you, and take care of yourself always.